Capitalism has an economic system and a social system that are mutualistic. They support one another. The social system reinforces the economic system by flattening out all values into one level of value and then associating that with capital. So even if we might think there's a legitimate difference between the gustatory value of food, how things taste, and the romantic value of love, not, says capitalism, in the real world. In the real world, there's just one value, and that value can be made sense of in capitalist terms. How many cheesesteaks will you take for your girlfriend? That's a legitimate question that we can ask in capitalism. There are not legitimately different incommensurable values in capitalism. There couldn't be, because there's only one valuable thing according to capitalism. So we've got this flattening out of value, which is great. It makes things way easier for us and allows for everything to be made sense of in capital markets. Even further, the sociological component of capitalism does what any ideology will do. It reinforces itself by responding to any criticisms of it with, well, you're just not doing it right, just try harder. The social component of capitalism allows for the commodification of everything. I can ask how valuable anything is, and it makes sense. Now, you might not be willing to sell, but at least it makes sense to ask for anything what its value is. And one of the foundational components of this socioeconomic system of valuing is that the agents in the system are individuals. So capitalism is individualistic. If you say, well, how could a socioeconomic system be anything other than individualistic? You are just showing how successful capitalism has been, and I agree with you. Individualism seems totally true. It seems like it's me against the world. If I want to form relationships with other people, that's cool, but that is constructed out of groups of individuals rather than something more fundamental or more basic than that. Yes, I totally agree with you. As a critic of capitalism myself, I'm not outside of capitalism. And I think this point is almost so obvious that it's easy to miss. So when you think of yourself, you think of yourself as an individual, not beholden to any group or collection. And insofar as you do think of yourself as having collective obligations, you think that you only have those collective obligations because you have contracted into relationships with other people. And if you think, well, what could possibly be the other option? Of course, the other obvious option is that in some spheres of life, collectives or groups are the most basic thing. There are no such things as individuals in some components of life. And if that's hard to think about, yeah, it will be hard to think about because capitalism has been really, really successful and is making us think this way. And remember that saying that capitalism is making us think this way doesn't mean this is the wrong way to think. It's just diagnosing why we think this way. So it's like if you looked at a red ball with red glasses on, you would see the ball as red. And the reason you're seeing the ball as red is because you've got red glasses on. It doesn't make the ball not red. But once you know that you've got red glasses on, that should make you worried about the fact that you see everything as red. Seeing individualism everywhere should make you worried. That doesn't mean that individualism is inappropriate everywhere. It might be appropriate everywhere. It might be appropriate some places, but you can't just take the obviousness of individualism as evidence in favor of the appropriateness of individualism because we know that you would see individualism everywhere as natural, even if it weren't, given capitalism. Ideology makes you see things a certain way, but that might be the way they actually are. As we were just talking about, capitalism says that any apparent problems are fixed with more capitalism. There was a compelling story that came from the economic right, economic conservatives, Republicans and libertarians, that the problem that led to the housing market crash in 2008 was too much government intervention in housing markets, which allowed for failures of the market to continue on and to continue being valued in a way that they shouldn't have been valued, where if the government hadn't been intervening, these market failures would have been weeded out a long time ago. So that's an example of capitalism saying, you think that capitalism was the reason for the housing market crash and the worst recession since the Great Depression. You're wrong. The problem was not enough capitalism. Now let's add Oprah onto this. And the thread that goes from capitalism to Oprah to the contemporary self-help industry starts out with the axiom, the principle, the foundation, the unargued for fundamental claim that the world sucks. And it sucks in ways big and small, in ways that have to do with humans, in ways that don't have to do with humans, in ways that have to do with governments and states, in ways that don't have to do with governments and states. So don't think that this is just a result of humans screwing things up. However, you can succeed. You can overcome this. It's important that it's you individuals. You can succeed or overcome. Now, a logical conclusion of these two is that you are going to succeed not by overcoming the world. The world stays in place. It's by overcoming yourself. If it's possible for you to succeed with the backdrop of a crappy world, then that was because the only thing holding you back was you. That's the real message in a lot of these self-help books, is that you are the thing that's in the way of your own success. So your success is a result of getting out of your own way. And this plays really nicely, although kind of accidentally, with this Western form of Buddhism that has become ascendant in the past 30 years or so. So mindfulness versions of therapy that have overtaken cognitive behavioral therapy. Widespread yoga practice, not just for being in shape. Meditation. All of that stuff, which is all great on its own, has been gobbled up by this capitalist way of thinking about things. If you're in your own way, then you have got to get a clearer picture of how you're in your own way. And being mindful, being present, being aware of the chattering voice that's going on in your own head that's keeping you from doing the things that you want to do. That is a solution to all of these issues. And one thing that you should do is take this picture, this Oprah self-help picture, and look at how much it shows up out there. The ways that we think about problems, the ways that we give each other advice, the ways that we hear other people's struggles and the ways that people frame their struggles are in terms of this. The world is intrinsically bad, but we can overcome, and the only thing that's standing in our way is us. And remember that putting that on the board doesn't mean that it's bad or that you should be ridiculed for believing that or that anybody should be thought of as less human for buying into any of that. All that stuff might be true, but the reason that we buy into it is not because it's true. The reason we buy into it is because capitalism won, and that's what capitalism says. In the same way as the reason you believe the ball is red is because you're wearing red glasses. Now, here are some issues that we want to consider, the downside of thinking about things in this way. And these are in addition to the downsides of capitalism more generally, the downsides of individualism more generally. Remember that Oprah is not a billionaire because she found all of that money somewhere. Oprah's a billionaire because she paid people less than their labor was worth for 30 years and sucked money off of the top of what she should have been paying her employees. The same way that any capitalist system works. So this is separate from those wider problems of capitalism. The first issue here is that this relies on just world theory. Just world theory says, and this is just not like, I'm just going to go to the store. This is just like, this system is just, it embodies justice. Just world theory says that generally, most of the time, people who are doing well deserve their doing well, and people who are doing poorly deserve their doing poorly. And look how this relies on that. Your success is a result of you overcoming the crappiness that the world forces on you. Meaning that if you're having a crappy life, it's because you gave up and let the world win. If you're having a good life, it's because you fought back against the world, you got out of your own way, and now you're succeeding. And The issues with a just world theory should be evident. A lot of the time, people who are succeeding accidentally, and people who are failing accidentally. This has us blaming victims for things that happen to them. This has us not questioning people who have done rapacious, horrible things to get their money and wealth and power. The only reason that the armed guards who protect the capitalists don't turn their guns on the capitalists and take all their stuff is because they believe the capitalists deserve what they have. There are way more of us than them. We could just take it. And the people who fight in our wars and the people who guard our capitalists are generally themselves not capitalists. The guard who's making $40,000 a year to protect Bill Gates could just do a 180 with his gun and say, that's mine now. But he doesn't, because he believes that the just world theory is true and has generally distributed wealth according to individual merit. And that's the same broadly for any ideology, that people need to believe in it in order for it to work. If we all just stop being capitalists right now, it goes away. Second thing that this does, the second issue that this has, is that it spiritualizes economic and political problems. It makes issues of distribution of wealth and resources and capital issues of the purity of your soul. So if you are dying of malnutrition, the Oprah version of self-help says that's not a problem of you not having food. That's a problem of you not having a pure enough soul, of you not getting out of your own way. That's your issue. If somebody's on fire and they're just screaming, to a certain extent, they really just need to turn that frown upside down. This is a spiritual issue for them, but more immediately, it's a fire issue. A lot of things that have been taken for the history of humanity to be economic and political issues, this version of self-help says, no, they're not. They're spiritual issues. You just need to meditate. You just need to get right with God. You just need to learn how to get out of your own way. And so that might be true, although it's super implausible. And when we start spiritualizing economic issues, this leads to another problem, that it prevents action. Notice how this says axiom, given, the world sucks. Well, if you buy into a theory that says given, the world sucks, you've got no ability to change the world. You are not going to change something that you believe is essentially unchangeable. But it really does look like a lot of the problems that Oprah wants us to fix are problems that could be fixed by distributing resources differently. Oprah grew up poor and marginalized because of, in large part, economic and political problems. Yeah, spiritualizing them makes them feel better, but it doesn't make them go away. And it does seem like we can make a lot of these issues go away. Go out there in the world and see how spiritualizing economic and political problems prevents you from getting involved at all, because the world just sucks and what can you do about it?